What is going on, Utensils? It is I am Spoon, and this is an episode of me talking about stuff. Actually, no, it's a continuation of my Godless YouTuber. I said part one, and I never really kind of finished it. And I felt like it was appropriate. This is like about a week or two after Skepticon, which, if you guys didn't know, Skepticon is a major, I guess, theist convention, free thinker, secular convention. I don't know. If you look at the game right now, you see me trying to step on this guy. And so, you get what I was doing there, right? You saw me stepping at him. And I kept pushing him like he wouldn't die. It kills people normally. So later on, I try and step on a guy and it kills him. I'm like, wait, I was stepping on that guy. I never killed him. Just push him away. I don't know why it was doing that. Halo's kind of weird on its splatters, betrayal type stuff, right? Vehicles are really, really powerful when it comes to running over teammates. When you're running over the other team, maybe not so much. See, that's it right there, right? So I was just poking the other guy, just stepping on him constantly. He's like, nope, not gonna do any damage. And there, just destroyed it completely. I even told them, I was like, come over here and let me, let me step on you. It'll be fun. But didn't turn out to be fun. So, where do we leave off? Last time we were talking about things in the Bible that seem kind of contradicting. Things being picked out of the Bible. People basically picking and choosing things that they want to use out of the Bible, and that's wrong. It's bad. You can't just pick and choose things that you want to hear, right? Because if you pick and choose things that are nice, I'm going to pick and choose things that are not so nice, or pick and choose things that are overlooked today in society, because it's honestly not that big a deal. So, if we pick and choose certain things, is it not just fair to say, why do we have to use it as a source at all then? Because obviously people have different opinions. People might pick and choose things that are different from each other. So you picking this out of context, I might pick this out of context, completely different from what you think. So it's unfair to say that the Bible should be used as a moral compass. How can people be moral without belief in gods, or God in this case, right? How can people be so moral? Obviously, without that belief, you're going to be just completely fucked up, right? So, I challenge that belief, and I think that's completely incorrect, because people do completely fucked up things all the time with their belief in gods, and people do completely fucked up things without their belief in gods. So why is it so different? I don't know. But anyway, so Skepticon was great. A lot of cool speakers that I want to talk about that a little bit and continue my discussion about it. But first, I want to kind of say something, right? So, people think being an atheist makes you a heathen, right? So, basically, people see this convention as a basic. Why do I keep saying basic? People see this convention as a place where a whole bunch of heathens are going to hang out and do heathen-type things, have heathen-type behavior. So, I want to show you guys what actually happens at Skepticon with all the SSA people, which is the Secular Student Alliance, that's who I went with, the SSA from UCA. By the way, guys, SSA is a great group. If you guys are secular, free thinkers, atheists, and you're in school and you don't have a group for that, start it up. Look it up. Secular Student Alliance, SSA. You can find it on the websites, and I will link you in the link. I'll put a link below in the description so you guys can understand what the organization is about. But basically, it's an organization for people in schools, colleges, high school, stuff like that. So you guys want to check it out. But yeah, so I want to show you guys what a whole bunch of heathens do at Skepticon, which is a heathen convention.
The point of the story is the allegory, the sort of symbolic meaning of the story. The truth of it is not the primary purpose of the story. And so that happens a lot in ancient world as well.
So that's pretty much it. We all pass out. Granted, that was the that was the last day we were there, and in all fairness, the entire convention is a whole bunch of speakers talking about all kinds of shit, right? That goes from drugs to the Bible to science to evolution to space to quantum bullshit. Anyway, it's all out of my league, right? So, for the most part. What I was mainly there for is to hang out with the SSA and to, and this is where the story part comes in, to watch a speaker named Jessica Alquist. Alquist, I don't actually know how to pronounce the last name. Screw me if I'm wrong, whatever. It's Alquist, I don't know. But it's either 2 or 3 syllables. I'm sure that if she ever watches this, she's like, this fucking guy doesn't even know how to pronounce my last name. So anyway, she got very popular. I mean, very popular because in her high school, and this was a while back, right? Like years ago, not like 800 years ago, but like I think 3 or 4 years ago. But so she basically had. I keep on saying basically. She had a prayer banner in her school, a public school, mind you, which is not really allowed because having a prayer banner focused around Christianity, which it was, think about people who are Muslim that go to that school. Think about people that don't believe in God that go to that school. Think about people that may have any other religious affiliation. Wouldn't they feel a little maybe intimidated by that banner, thinking, well, maybe this school doesn't welcome me because I'm not represented fairly by this banner? So that's what's important to me. Not so much that people need to keep their shit out of schools, right? I don't care, right? Because SSA is obviously an organization that's in the school, but that would be something that would be considered fair use, right? Plus, it's really kind of student body usage, right? It's you can have a we have a person who's kind of like the head of it, which is I guess somebody who is faculty at the school, and then you have things that are run by basically the students. All the funding, I think for the most part, all the funding is either for us or it's set aside for us by the school. I don't actually know about funding, but the point is, if it's school funded, it has to be fair, right? And so the point was that they weren't really fairly representing. They weren't fairly representing every religion, right? So once again, I don't really have a problem with prayer banners as much as I would if they would just use it in maybe an organization. Like, let's say, for example, on our school, we have the I think it's SBC, or it's like Student Baptist something. Anyway, long story short, it's a Christian organization, right? Then we have the SSA, which is a secular organization, and then we have different groups that can talk about whatever they want. And for the most part, it's either organized after school hours, or maybe even during school hours. They do cool things, but it's all not. It's not like UCA does it, right? It's all set up by students, and so it's the same thing. So if the school is going to represent itself, they can't really pick a religion to do so. They have to represent themselves as a school. Otherwise, it's not fair to people that. And how did I spy that guy? It's not fair to people that aren't of that religion. So anyway, long story short, she wanted the prayer banner taken down. Right? Was it fair to have only Christians represented by that school, or to have them kind of favorited? And that's what the prayer banner basically did. It made it seem like the school was showing favoritism over one group of people. So anyway, it went to court because it was a big deal, the whole separation of church and state thing. And yes, I know people are going to start talking about, oh, blah, 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 the Constitution, those exact words aren't in there. And I'm like, okay, cool, right? But we all know what it is, right? It's not fair. Same thing with a whole bunch of these other problems that are going on with people filing lawsuits all over the place because basically people are not representing all religions fairly. Another one that I saw recently was the World Trade Center memorial that they're doing. They're wanting to put a steel beam section of a cross, right? They're saying it was a holy relic, and they had to put it up in that museum because it was once again a holy relic. It was left standing, and it was a cross after the bombing of the World Trade Centers, right? So my problem with that isn't that they want to put it in there. It's that, God, I just love those things, stepping the mantis, the way they stomp. So cool. So my problem isn't that they wanted to put it there. My problem is that they said, well, basically this is a holy relic. It's like, well, okay, so you're gonna put holy relics up for all the other religions and non-religions too, right? Because Christians aren't the only people that died in the World Trade Center bombings, right? Obviously. Obviously not. There was thousands of people, and I can guarantee you not all of them were Christians. In fact, most of them might have been, but I guarantee you a large portion weren't, right? So it's not fair to just represent only one religion and say, oh, well, this really affected us as a Christian nation. No, it's not like that at all. This is not a Christian nation. This is a nation that represents freedom of or from religion. Basically, you can represent whatever religion you want. And it's not fair for any kind of public place to represent one religion over the other. So anyway, she took it to court, and the school started being in uproar. People would just harass her all the time. People sent like really, really threatening tweets and emails and everything towards her. I think it was some high-ranking person in politics. It was like a senator or a congressman, something. I don't even remember. But he called her an evil little thing, and she ended up having somebody make shirts and sell them, and she made just a shit ton of money for college from that guy saying bad things about her. Anyway, so she turned into this huge celebrity and face for secular, freethinker, atheist to latch onto because of what she stood for, how she stood up to fuck the system. No, how she stood up to her beliefs, which were no belief, and she basically challenged the public school because they were doing something they shouldn't, and she won. They ended up taking down the banner, or they moved it somewhere else. I don't know what happened, but they took it down, did something with it, and she won the case, and it was just an overall great experience for her. Right? I mean, not the experience itself was horrifying, but the overall ending experience was great. You know, she came out on top, and it was great. So, obviously, she's a huge face in the secular freethinker atheist, and I keep saying this because I want to make sure I represent anybody who may not be per se an atheist, but also a freethinker or agnostic, stuff like that, right? So she represents that community, and everyone kind of latched onto that and said, awesome, that's great. Why are people slamming fucking doors in my house? And so I'm a big fan, right? I don't really fanboy out over people, but I'm a huge fan of her. I got to see her speak and tell her story, and I'd never really heard the story live. I just kind of knew a little bit about it, but she told it and showed all the tweets and a lot of pictures, and it was really awesome to watch, right? And she said she was like super nervous talking in front of a lot of people, and I can kind of understand that. But I think she did a great job. So I was super pumped up. I was like, oh, this is so cool. I got to watch her. And so I was like, oh man, what if I got to meet her and said, oh hey, you're awesome, and then went on with my life. You know, that's what fanboys and fangirls, right? So I think it's kind of weird when people like just want to say hi to me because it's like, okay, I'm not even a big deal. But I totally understand how they feel because if I were to just like see her and be like, hi, I would feel so accomplished, right? Call me weird because she's like younger than me and it's not even a big deal at all. What she did would be what anybody would do in that situation. But to me, it's a big deal, right? So I'm sitting there watching a speaker. I can't remember who it was. I think it was the comedian. We had a comedian there, a comedic atheist. And it wasn't really atheist jokes for the most part. He was just talking about other things and making jokes, and he'd happen to be atheist, which is how you would think. Like they do exactly what everyone else normally does. They just happen to be atheist, and half the speakers there weren't even talking about atheism type stuff. So anyway, sitting there, and afterwards, after the comedian, we all went to this pub. It was called the Gastro Pub. It's a really great place to go. It was super overpacked because of the convention. But I had a White Russian, which I'm of age to drink. I don't promote drinking normally, but it was pretty good. It tasted like shit towards the end, but I still drank it. I didn't get drunk, obviously. It's just one drink. I don't think it's cool to ever get drunk, but that's me, right? You can get drunk all you want. I don't care if you're of age. So anyway, we were sitting there. I was talking. I was like, oh yeah, Jessica Alquist's speech was great. I'm so glad I finally got to see her live and talk about it. And actually, you know, I know what happened now. I can see the damages. And Kristen was like, yeah, you were sitting next to her and her boyfriend. What? Mind. Right, I was, apparently, when I was watching the comedian, I was talking to the guy next to me, right? I was talking, because he had this SSA bag, the stuffed bag. It was like a light blue color. It was really cool. Apparently, I was sitting next to him this whole time. I didn't know that. Yep. Didn't even get to say hi. Felt terrible. So there you go. You have it, guys. I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll spoon you later.